it's completely fine from my point of view.
Well,
So let me just do here. Okay, so Jan. So the symptom lists is not only about symptoms. It's partly about symptoms, but it's also about to what extent you are able to do various activities. So the first thing we need to do is that you need to pick 5 activities that you usually enjoy doing, but where you feel yourself held back or restricted by your symptoms. So some examples could be, I'll just read from what the person before you, what she was choosing, and she chose going to the cinema, for example. She doesn't feel completely able to do that and relax and enjoy it. And 45 minutes of running and 2 hours of socializing with her friends' babies. Going to see a DJ for 4 hours and writing on a piece of paper for 1.5 hours. So those are 5 activities that she usually enjoys doing, but where she feels held back by her symptoms. Other things can be like going out and going out into town, like getting drunk for a night and getting home at 3 o'clock.
yeah.
It could be other things. So I don't know if you can come about some activities that where you feel yourself.
Well, it is, like I said, it is, the symptoms have decreased a lot, but still the permanent tiredness and just not being motivated for stuff that's persisting. So going out with people, I'm not really up for that. Just any negative emotion that comes up from other people, or that comes up, it causes pain, and that's why at this point I don't really like being around people, because there is something constantly happening in my head afterwards, and triggers the pain. Just makes it worse.
Okay, should we put that as an activity?
Well, yeah, socializing just doesn't work.
Okay. At this point, or in general for you?
At this point.
At this point. So it's something that you would like to do more. Yeah. Okay. So shall we? I want to get some like pretty precise measurements or activities. So it could be going to the pub for 3 hours in an afternoon, for example. I don't know if that's something you would otherwise do. Or it could be like we should try to get some sort of specific scenario. Going out for like dinner with 3 friends, for example, or going out for a concert for 4 hours or something like that.
I'm not really at this point in my life. I'm not really going out, neither by myself, neither with friends. I just tend to stay home. Even though, like I said a year ago, I would do everything. I would rehearse with my band.
Rehearsing with your band. That's a great activity. So we are looking for activities that you would usually like to do, but you cannot enjoy at the moment.
I understand what you're saying. Okay. I can say straight away reading.
Okay.
Reading at home.
Reading. I'm just gonna. Okay, so let's say reading. Shall we say a novel for 1 hour, or shall we say more like
educational stuff? Educational stuff for 2 hours, say.
Reading educational stuff for 2 hours. For 2 hours. Okay, so we got the first one. Reading education book for 2 hours. I think the band thing is pretty good if you want to do that.
Playing guitar for the 6 hours straight, that's not possible, and that's what I would do usually before this happened.
That's a perfect one. Playing guitar for 6 hours straight. Okay. So we got 2 activities now.
Let me think. Yeah, just going out for a beer after school for 3 hours. That doesn't work now. Going to gym, not. It probably wouldn't. It probably wouldn't. It probably wouldn't hurt anymore because when you get yourself moving, it kind of kills the pain when it's not that strong. But there's the motivation for not even going to gym for 1 hour.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Going to gym for 1 hour. We don't need to find activities where you put them as zero. Some of the activities can be things that you're doing today, but you feel held back. So, but these are good. So the number 5.
Cooking a good food. Like I would usually just grab something that I don't have to piss about, even though normally I loved cooking.
Yeah. So cooking for 45 minutes. Could that be?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so now we need to give them some grades, and it's on a scale from 0 to 10, and 0 is, of course, I cannot do it, and more specifically the definition is, although I really want to, I feel it's completely impossible for me to do it. So
10.
I want that's a 0, and 10 is I would love to do it, and I feel no restriction at all. Let's just go for it. So like 0, I can't do it. 10, sure, let's go for it. So the first one is reading an educational book for 2 hours.
Like 1 or 2.
Okay.
1.
Then playing guitar for 6 hours straight. 0.
0.
Okay.
I like playing guitar. I love it, but when pain kicks in, they're disgusted by everything. So.
Absolutely. Then going out for beer after school for 3 hours.
No, 0.
And going to the gym for 1 hour.
You 5.
Yeah. And then cooking for 45 minutes.
3.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. So the next section here is your top 3 worst symptoms the last week. And if there's one symptom you could wipe out or get rid of, what would that be?
I have to choose between the sound sensitivity or the headache in this area going to eyes.
Yeah, we got 3. You've got 3 symptoms, so we just need the worst one, the second worst, and the third worst.
The pain in the head's the worst.
Pain in the head. So headache.
The second one's the sound sensitivity.
Yeah.
And third,
could be lack of energy, could be living in jelly, could be other pain things, could be light sensitivity, tinnitus, or I don't know so much about the symptoms yet, but
I had tinnitus since I was about 10, so that doesn't really bother me anymore.
And do you think that's because of like you played a lot of guitar, or?
I think it has got to do more with music and stuff. It's not the tinnitus that would drive me crazy.
No,
it's been there for so long that it's not bothering me anymore.
Okay.
But the third symptom, I don't have so much pain in my back anymore, so probably the tiredness.
All right. Okay, this is good. Okay, so the final question before we get to the actual symptoms is how happy you are today on a scale of 0 to 10. So So 0 is I cannot feel worse. I feel as bad as humanly possible, and I don't think I can carry on. So that's like all the way down. And 10 is I'm as happy and optimistic and excited as I can be. I don't have any problems at all.
Like 3 or 4.
All right.
So let me think.
You want to go for 3 or 4?
3, yeah.
3. All right, perfect. Okay, so the next part here are the actual symptoms, and I've got probably more than 40 here. And the idea is to give each of them a grade between 0 to 10. And 0 is it's within the last week, roughly or so. So 0 is I have not experienced this symptom, and 10 is it's unbearable and I'll do anything to get rid of it. Okay. So the first symptom is headache in the back of the head.
6.
Yeah. And then it's a pain behind the ear. So in this area.
And that doesn't hurt me so much. No. That's maybe 1.
Yeah. Good. And then a headache in the temples.
Temples 5.
Yes. And then pain in the forehead.
Temples. It doesn't hurt so much in the temples here next to the eye, but more closer to the ear. It hurts really a lot. That's probably the worst headache spot I've got. Okay. So that might be worse. That might be 8, 9.
Okay, and
8.
Where again is that?
If you go from the temple closer to the ear.
Okay.
So about here.
Okay, let's okay, I'll just put in an extra symptom for you here. Pain close to ear. Is it like in front of the ear? Could you say that?
Yeah. It's about where you have your.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's this spot.
Actually, I think that goes as temple pain. I'm gonna make a backslash and then say temple or ear pain.
Yeah, I've been looking up how does TMJ pain look like, and the TMJ is a little below it, below the place where
it's rather in the jaw. Exactly. So temple headache and then backslash in front. Was it in front of the ear you experienced it?
Like 3/4 height of the ear, in front of the ear, yeah.
Okay. The most important thing is just that the two of us understand what it is of ear. So you said 8?
8, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then
it's the most chronic one. Yeah. That's why.
Okay. Then the next one is headache in the forehead.
2.
Yes. And on the top of the head.
That bothers me really occasionally, but it does, so 5.
Yeah. And then in the back of the teeth.
Teeth don't hurt.
Teeth don't hurt.
My teeth don't hurt.
Yeah. And then in your jaw area.
Occasionally, very slightly, 2.
Yes. Okay. And then we have pain in the chest.
No pain in the chest.
And pain in the neck.
Neck 4.
Mm-hmm. And pain between the shoulder blades.
Sometimes it kind of kicks in, the pain in the back, so that's about 5. But it's nothing compared to the head.
No. And then pain in the middle of the back. So below.
That's 3.
Yeah. And
But
then
bear in mind that I've had back pain for a long time because of the dysfunction ever since childhood,
Yeah.
or since I was about 12, 13.
Yeah.
My back was hurting, and that's what I got used to. Just don't get used to having pain in the head.
Yeah. All right, but that's something we I mean, we should try to get rid of all of your pain if we can. So the next one is pain in the lower back. So all the way down.
Sometimes, but not really badly. So 1.
Yeah. And then we have on the top of the shoulder here.
2.
Yes. And then we have on the shoulder out here.
That doesn't hurt.
No. And then the upper arm.
When I'm playing guitar, that kicks in. So I would say 6, 5.
5. Yeah. And then the lower arm.
That's fine.
0. Okay. And then in the wrist.
Left wrist hurts a little bit. 3.
Yes. And then pain in the eyes.
Nice. That's the pain behind. Can you describe that as
Yes.
a pain behind the eye, like you did
Absolutely.
in videos?
Absolutely, yeah.
That tends to be quite annoying. That's about 6.
Yes. And then pain in the throat.
0.
Yeah. And then we have feeling disturbances, so like a numbness, tingling, feeling disturbances first in the arms.
None.
Yeah, and then in the hands.
No, doesn't happen to
Yeah.
me.
Then tinnitus or tinnitus.
That's does annoy me a little bit, but it's not anything that would drive me crazy. So that's 2.
Yeah. And then sensitivity to sounds.
Sound bothers me a lot. That's let me think. It's hard to rate everything.
Sure. And it's not going to be very precise. It's just like, you might say 7 now, and then you think afterwards, oh, I should have said 8, but it's kind of an average.
Yeah. 8.
Yeah. And then sensitivity to light.
I'm not sensitive to light
No.
at all.
And then a sensation that you cannot swallow, or that there's some food stuck in your throat.
I don't have that.
No. And then watery eyes.
Sometimes it happens, but it's usually in the morning, and it's not annoying at all. So 1.
Yeah. And then general hay fever symptoms.
I tend to have a bit stuffed nose in the night, but it's not the worst thing. So though that could be 4.
Yeah. And then nausea.
Yeah. Occasionally, I am a bit nauseous, but that's maybe once a week. 3.
Yeah. And then dizziness and balance disturbances.
None.
None. We got about 10 more to go. So next one is irritation in the eyes.
Don't have that.
No.
0.
And then a droopy eyelid, like
I used to have that. I used to have that when I got here during the first week, and it was happening to me. It was happening to me quite often in the last half a year, but now it's not bothering me. So 0.
yeah. And then we have irritation in the nose.
Nothing.
And trouble turning your head, or a stiff neck.
Like that's fine.
Yeah, 0. Yes, and visual disturbances.
Visual. I have some floaters in my eyes that
what?
have appeared. Floaters.
Yeah. Okay.
If you know what it is.
Yeah, that's actually quite normal,
Yeah.
and probably not trigger point related. The visual disturbances that I'm looking for is more like text getting blurry or inability to focus or something like that.
Sometimes it happens that my vision gets a little bit blurry, but that doesn't bother me really. So 1.
Yeah. And then a sensation of living in jelly or living in a dream.
I've had that for quite a while now. That's maybe the last 2 years, but it has changed a lot during the last half a year, or during the whole 2 years that something started happening to me. At the moment, it's more tiredness than being stuck in the jello. That I still not motivated to talk to people, but it's not as extreme as it was in September. So that's 2.
Yes. And then we have 4 more, and the first one is an inability to concentrate.
It's about 6.
Yes. And then an inability to sleep or problems sleeping.
I don't have trouble falling asleep, but I wake up. It depends really, but I tend to wake up in the night, say once at least.
Okay, that's very normal. Actually, all people wake up about 3-4 times. You typically wake up on the top of your sleep cycles, and then you fall asleep again. And because you fall asleep again rather quickly, you tend to forget that you were actually awake. But most people actually, it's only if you become aware that you are awake and think about it that you remember it the next morning. So for me, it sounds like a relatively low thing. Unless
I don't have trouble falling asleep, so that's 0.
Yeah. And then stress, like bodily stress.
Trying to get what you're asking for.
It's not all. Yeah. Well, it's difficult to feel sometimes, but if basically if you feel stressed, like if you feel your body is stressed. It might not be very low.
6.
Yeah. And then a tiredness.
Just because I'm not a perfectionist, but I said in the email, I'm trying to keep myself going all the time, or at least I tried until I started getting the headaches, and because I'm not moving anywhere really, I'm still trying to get healthy. That is why I'm feeling stressed, because I can't do anything.
Yeah, sure. Okay, and the last one is tiredness or a lack of energy.
8.
Yes. Okay, perfect. So we've got the first symptom list now. So